What's it like to be an astrophotographer? What can you see with just a small setup in your backyard? How much money do you have to spend? These are questions I've had, and today I'll be answering those and sharing my experience so far, coming up on 1 year since I started astrophotography. Hey guys, welcome back to JW Deep Sky. Or rather, welcome me back to you guys, my fans. I appreciate all you guys that subscribed. You really gave me the motivation I needed to continue moving forward with the channel as well as with astrophotography. That said, it's been a while since my last video. I decided to take a break from YouTube so I could concentrate on honing my skills as an astrophotographer and so I could learn how to produce higher quality video for you guys to enjoy. I've also been working on my website as well as some other big things coming down the pipeline. At the time of my last video, I was just starting to get into some more serious astrophotography with a cooled astro camera, auto guiding, plate solving, and all the other bells and whistles that come with an expensive astro rig. Since then, I've learned so much about the night sky as well as capturing and processing images. I started out with a budget rig I put together for under $2,000, which you can see in my first video. And I would drive about an hour to Atig National Seashore in Maryland at night by myself, almost on a weekly basis. Atig Island is right below Ocean City, Maryland, and it's about a Bortle 3 sky, which is dark enough to see the Milky Way with the naked eye. When I would set up there with my first rig, I was able to figure out how to get my little star tracker roughly polar aligned, and I would struggle to get a target in the frame. It really helps to know the night sky well for that part. I bought an intervalometer for my stock DSLR to take a series of 30-second to a minute exposures, and ended up getting some results I was happy with at the time. Here are some of my earliest captures from those days. It didn't take long before I needed more from the hobby. I wanted to see more of the red in the nebulas that I saw in pictures online, so I bought a modified DSLR camera, which I really didn't get to use much before realizing that upgrading to a cooled camera was an even better choice. This is when I really started to spend a lot of money on the hobby. The sadder my bank account got, the better my pictures got. Now, expensive gear can't buy a good astrophotographer, but it can definitely enhance the images of someone who's really dedicated to the hobby. And so the more gear I bought, the more I learned, and actually that meant the less work it actually took to get better images. I realized that I didn't have to go to a really dark sky area to get amazing pictures. Even though I had bright streetlights and cars driving by with their high beams on and lots of strong wind gusts, I could still produce amazing images in my backyard. I've tried a few different combinations of gear so far, but I've pretty much settled on this rig right here. The star of the show is the new Apertura 75Q quintuplet refractor telescope. The camera I'm using is a ZWO ASI 533 MC Pro. I've also got the ZWO EAF autofocuser, the SV Bony mini guide scope, and the ZWO 120mm mini guide camera. And I'm controlling everything with the small but mighty ASI Air Mini, which is enough to get the job done for me. The imaging train is sitting on the Skywatcher EQM35 Pro, which I've had my share of issues with, but I can really count on it to do some serious work. I bought this mount used at around $750, including shipping. So all in all, this rig cost me around $3,150 total. You could maybe get some used parts and get it under $3,000, but I would actually recommend getting a better mount for this setup. To keep it super light and portable, I would go with a ZWO AM3 or AM5, and I've also heard that the Skywatcher HEQ5 and EQ6R Pro are also very trustworthy mounts, but they're a bit heavier. Any of these mounts would provide more accurate guiding than the EQM35 Pro, but thankfully I'm still able to run 3 to 4 minute sub-exposures with minimal issues. I have tried mounting a Newtonian reflector, the Skywatcher Quattro 150p, on my mount. The Quattro 150p weighs 12.6 pounds, where the Apertura weighs 6.8 pounds. And the Apertura has a shorter focal length, so it's much better suited for the EQM35, which has a payload capacity of only 22 pounds. This rig has all the same gear, just with a different scope. I really like how Newtonian images turn out, but it was really difficult to get guiding accurate enough to my liking, and I also found collimation to be a pain, so I settled on the Apertura 75Q instead. And speaking of collimation issues, I bought a Bamboo P1S 3D printer to print some astro parts, so I'm going to be printing a triple Botanov mask for my Newtonian reflector, which will help me achieve perfect focus and perfect collimation, which I'm really interested to try, but more on that to come in a future video. Here's a comparison of some images taken with the refractor versus the Newtonian. One reason I bought the Newtonian is for the diffraction spikes in the pictures. I think they make astro pictures look so cool. And for that reason, I'm also going to be 3D printing different kinds of diffraction masks for my refractor. With a simple mask with simple lines in simple patterns, you can get some pretty neat diffraction spikes. You can even have one similar to the James Webb Space Telescope. So to close out the video, I want to tell you guys about my latest capture. I went down to Atig Island again in Maryland, but this time not by myself. I went out with a few friends to try to capture the comet that's in the night sky right now, Comet 12P Pons-Brooks. It's currently sitting below and in between M31 and M33, the Andromeda and Triangulum galaxies. So now would be a great time to get out there and shoot the comet yourself. Unfortunately for us, the clouds rolled in that night on the western horizon, which was right where the comet was, and we couldn't image the comet. However, we did point our scopes at Orion for some stunning images. I wrote about this in my first blog post on my website, which I've linked in the description below. So I've been busy, but I'm back now and I'm here to stay. I'm looking forward to continuing this journey through the universe with all of you. This has been JW Deep Sky, Clear Skies.